We live on the cutting edge of physics, material science, engineering, and nanotechnology. Because at Lockheed Martin, we're engineering a better tomorrow.
What is so fun about science?
Science is great because you get to learn how things happen. You also get to help invent things and create them as a scientist or an engineer.
Why do you like science?
Science is very important. Science helps us understand the world around us. It helps us understand how things work. It helps us understand how the human body works, and it's very important.
How does science make you feel?
I'm happy to be a scientist. I know that with my education or with my effort to find the answers, I can help people to be healthy.
What did you like learning about when you were a little girl?
When I was a little girl, I was really interested in math and science and all things that were associated with it. It's important to start early thinking about what you'd like to do.
How does science make you healthy?
That's a great question. So there's a lot of things about our health that we still don't understand. And so by doing experiments, we can learn more about how your body is equipped and make you better faster.
Thanks for answering my questions.
Are you guys having a great time at the Science Festival? Me too. And let me tell you, we have an exciting show for you today. I'm looking out in the audience. I'm seeing lots of girls. I'm seeing lots of women, moms, grandmas, and some awesome boys and men too. Today, we are going to bring you some amazing women in science, engineering and neurology. And I, by the way, am Mindy Thomas. I am the host of NPR's Wow in the World podcast, a podcast. You've heard of it? Yay! It's a show for kids and their curious grown-ups. It's about science and technology and new discovery and big imagination. So before we start the show today, I want to let you know some things that we have coming up. So first off, we're going to need to have a little screen time during our presentation. Did your grown-ups tell you no screen time at the Science Festival today? Yeah, well, we're going to have some screen time. So does everyone have a cell phone? I know if you're a kid, you have to wait until you're in 8th grade. Sorry, you could borrow your grown-up. So get ready for that. We're going to have you text, and you guys can go ahead and do this now. Just go ahead and text STEM Rocks to 22333, okay? And we'll remind you about that in a minute. Before we start, I want to ask you guys a few questions, okay? So who here loves STEM? Science, technology, engineering, math, robotics, planets, plants? Okay, good round of applause. Can we, I want to hear from you. I want to hear, woo-woo, if you hope one day to have a career in STEM, to get paid to follow your curiosity. Anybody? Yeah. Now I want to hear a big woo-woo if any of you have ever met or spoken with, in person, a real, live, certified and licensed, USDA-approved scientist. All right, well, if you haven't, today is your chance. So I want to bring up our first important person here today. Her name is Natalie Chen. She's 13 years old, and she is a Time for Kids reporter. She lives in Silver Spring, Maryland. She lives in Bethesda, Maryland, with her mom and her dad and her sister and her dog, Wiley. She loves writing, tennis, and she is crazy about science. Do you guys want to meet Natalie? Natalie, come on up. Here she comes. Yay. So Natalie, look at this. How are you feeling?
Good. I'm a little nervous, though.
You're a little nervous?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what I do when I get nervous, Natalie? I look out into this big audience of beautiful people, and I imagine them all wearing their underpants and space helmets on their heads, okay? So let's just gaze out into this wide audience, all right? And picture this lady in her underpants and a space helmet. And this guy in his underpants and a space helmet. And this grandpa over here in his underpants and a space helmet. Does that help?
Not
No,
really.
it doesn't help at all. All right. All right. Well, Natalie, I got to ask you, how did you become a Time for Kids reporter?
Well, I've always loved writing, and I saw something online that said I could enter contests to become a Time for Kids reporter, so I decided to do it.
You decided to do it. Was there ever a moment where you saw this contest and you thought, oh, that would be really cool if somebody else got this? And then wait a minute, maybe that could be me.
Yeah, definitely. I was a little scared at first, but then I realized, why not?
Why not? Why
Yeah.
not me, right? All right. Well, I'm so glad you did, because here you are today. Is this your first time interviewing anybody in front of a large audience of people?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're going to do great. I'm so excited. So I'm going to have you go have a seat over there.
Okay.
She's going to be talking with our scientists today. She's got some amazing questions for them. And the first thing we're going to do, our first speaker, is Corlis Murray. Corliss Murray is a top engineer at Abbott. She's been blazing the trails for the next generation of girls in STEM. She's also a grandmother of 5. And before we bring Corliss out, I want to show you guys a quick video of her life on the job.
Hi, I'm Ariana. I got questions about engineering for my grandma. What does an engineer do?
Design things and make things.
What's the coolest thing about your job?
Solving problems.
What are all those pipes for?
To move chilled water through our system for cooling.
Do you make rocket ships?
I don't, but there are engineers and scientists that do.
Sandcastles or snow forts?
Oh, snow forts every time.
Any advice for me?
Study hard in school, especially math and science.
Have you ever taken a selfie in your hard hat?
I haven't, but would you like to take one with me?
Sure.
You guys are in for such a treat. Are you guys ready to meet Corliss? Let's give her a big round of applause. Corliss Murray, come on out here.
Hey, Natalie. Okay.
Hi, Corliss.
Hey.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled to be here.
Yeah, I have a few questions for you.
Okay.
So, what made you choose to become an engineer?
What I'd like to do, maybe even before I go there, is just to say that that was my granddaughter, as you heard in the video, and it was really exciting for me to be able to share a little bit of my work life with her. And as I look out over the audience, there are so many girls in this audience today, as well as boys, and it's exciting to see you, but to have the parents, the grandparents, also here, and I hope teachers as well as the many corporations that are here, that is exciting for me. What really made me go into engineering specifically was based on an experience that I had when I was in high school. I was a junior in high school, and IBM came to my school recruiting for an internship opportunity. So I was able to take advantage of that opportunity. And I was assigned to work underneath a field service engineer working on large computer mainframe systems. So how many of you have seen the movie Hidden Figures? Raise your hand. Okay, so a lot of you. So one of the rooms that you saw was a large computer system. So those were much older than the ones that I worked on, but the Neurotechnologies, I had that opportunity, and that was the breakthrough moment for me.
So, I know that your mentor was an African-American man. Why was that important for you?
Yes, so the engineer that I worked under at IBM, a field service engineer, was an African-American man. And what really was important for me at that moment was I saw someone that looked similar to me, right? And it made me have hope that if he was able to do it, then I could too. And that was really special because I could have conversations with him about things that maybe I couldn't talk to someone else about. And that made it really special.
So, you said you saw someone similar to you, and that made you kind of consider going into the field. So, why is diversity important in STEM?
Diversity is essentially important in STEM because engineering, specifically as a profession, is the second largest field for the STEM professions if you look at it. And one thing that happens, it's just a natural part of reality, is we are creating products and technologies and services for the population, for society. society is diverse. And in order to be able to have the breakthrough technologies that is going to continue to advance life as we know it and use of products as we know it, we need a diverse population of people to create that. And I really want to stress that does include girls, because a lot of focus groups that companies do, they include women in those focus groups. So you want to make sure that you have the brain power that girls are bringing to the table to be able to help make a difference for the next breakthrough technologies.
I know you love engineering, so tell me, what is your favorite part about being an engineer?
I absolutely love engineering. And one of my favorite part about it is solving problems. So if you are an individual that love math and science, and I know that you do because you're here at this festival today, I would say if you have a curious mind, you like exploring things, then you want to consider engineering. But being able to solve complex problems is what I've done most of my career, and I continue to do to this day, and I never have a boring moment.
So tell us about your involvement in the hashtag #ILookLikeAnEngineer movement.
That was really fun because it's probably comical to a lot of you that I really wasn't heavily engaged in social media at the time, and when I saw what was going on with this young woman out in California that had been in an ad for her company, and what happened was she began to be stereotyped. She was a minority engineer, and so I was one of thousands of women that came forward to say that I look like an engineer. And when I look at you, all the girls in the audience right now, could you raise your hands so I can see you? Okay, so in my mind, all of you look like engineers. So engineers have no specific gender, they have no stereotype. So it was important for me to help demonstrate support for that so that people would know that all of us have the capability of becoming engineers.
Sounds like this movement is really inspirational to women, but why do you think so few women choose to become an engineer?
One of the things that research has shown, and based also on my personal experience, I would say that it tends to become difficult for girls when they don't see women in the fields that they want to see people that look like them. So if they don't see women in engineering or in the STEM fields, and then they don't necessarily have the confidence that they too are able to do it. Research has shown actually that a lot of the things that dissuade girls in particular from going into the fields is lack of confidence and lack of being able to connect with someone else. And so we're on a mission to be able to help that, and we've been able to start that process through our high school STEM program.
So you mentioned the Abbott High School STEM internship program. What is the goal for this program, and why is it so important for Abbott?
Yeah, the goal for the program is really to help to bring more diversity into the STEM fields. We've had to date, the program is 6 years old, and we've had almost 100 students to go through the program. I do want to take a moment to recognize one student that's here with us today. Well, she's not a student any longer. She's now a professional engineer working for us, but Sarah. If Sarah could wave at everybody. So Sarah is actually a graduate of not only our high school program, but our college program, and she's now in our professional development program. So what we do is partner with schools around the U.S., and we work to assign these young people to professional engineers and scientists and technologists and cyber experts that are doing jobs that they aspire to do. So these young people, as young as 15 years old, work for us while they're still in high school, and they get real-world experience. So then they're able to take that experience and build on it. And what my goal is that we increase the probability that they will go on not to just major in technical fields, but they will have meaningful careers in these fields. And I don't know if the young lady is with us, but we ran into a student from Columbus, Ohio, that was just accepted into our program for this year, for summer 2018. So is that student here by chance? Oh yeah, there she is over there. Okay, good. So we're so excited to be able, so we're everywhere, and we're trying to make sure that we continue to attract students into our program. 60% of our students in the program is female, and 50% are minority. So we're starting to make conversion in there.
That sounds so amazing. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for answering my questions. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
I look forward
Mindy?
to it. Thank you.
Corliss, you brought engineering down to 2 words. You said problem solving. And I have to ask, have you ever tried problem solving and then not been able to solve the problem? Have things ever gone wrong for you as an engineer?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's, engineering is interesting, right? Because science is not perfect. And, you go through trial and error, and I'm on the operations side of engineering. So you're going to hear from my colleague, Beth, soon. And Beth is the creator. We're on the side where we take what comes out of research and development, and then we make it into the product that they've created. So we're the ones that help to get it to commercial, out into the field. And sometimes things don't go just right. And so when you're trying to solve technical problems, you have to persevere through it. And sometimes it's trial and error to be able to do it, but you cannot give up, ever.
All right, don't give up. Even if the problem is, how am I going to get to be a scientist? You've got all these obstacles in your way. Perseverance, don't give up.
Don't give up.
All right, these look like a bunch of strong ladies in the audience. I think they
so.
got this. Okay, guys, remember how I told you that we were going to do a little screen time? Well, it's now that time. We're going to play a little game. So go ahead and once again pull out your phones. And if you haven't done it yet, just text STEM Rocks to 22333. Once you do that, you're going to be in the game, and then you can play along. So the way this is going to work is Corliss is going to ask you a question and give you a series of answers. You're going to choose your answer, text it into your phone, and then we will see your answers in real time, and then Corliss will reveal the correct one. Are you guys ready? Everyone have your cell phones out? Okay. Corliss, let's hear the first question.
Okay. So our first question is, what % of U.S. engineers are women? Is it A, 19%, B, 30%, C, 7%, or is the answer D, 45%?
Okay, so go ahead and text your answers now. We'll wait. Wearing something else. Oh, I think we got the answers.
Wow, you guys are smart.
All right, so wow, Corliss.
Yeah.
It looks like 44%, nearly half of our audience, thinks that the answer is that 19% of U.S. engineers are women.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Look at you
19%.
guys.
But that's not a bragging
enough.
right. That's not a bragging right. 19% across the entire United States of America. I think we have a lot of work to do, don't you? There you go.
Yeah.
If you believe we have a lot of work to do, raise your hand. Very good.
Are you saying that there is room in STEM fields for all of these ladies in the audience?
There absolutely. We need these ladies in the audience.
Yeah, we need you guys. All right, well, speaking of amazing women in science, we are about to bring out another special guest. She is a neurologist. Her name is Beth McQuiston, and in addition to being a neurologist, which is basically just a fancy name for being a scientist who works on brains, she is also a concussion expert. Anybody here ever got a concussion? Have any of you ever freaked out your parents thinking you might have a concussion? Well, Beth is your lady for this. She's also a mom. Her daughter, Abby, is in the audience here. Where are you, Abby? Hi, Abby. And she takes 2 things very, very seriously: science and silliness. Please welcome Beth McQuiston.
Hi, my name's Michaela.
Oh,
I
not
have
yet.
some questions about neuroscience.
Awesome.
What's the coolest thing about your job?
I get to study the brain, and the brain is the only organ that can study itself.
Are bigger brains smarter?
No, in fact, Einstein's brain was average size.
Is brain food a real thing?
Absolutely. That's why you are what you eat.
What are you studying right now?
I'm studying concussions.
Why do we need to research concussions?
Well, actually, knowing if you have a concussion can be really tricky. That's why we're working on a portable blood test to help evaluate them.
Do concussions only affect athletes?
Nope, most concussions happen because of slips and falls or car accidents.
How can I avoid getting a concussion?
Wear a helmet.
Have you ever taken a selfie in a bike helmet?
No, I haven't. You want to take one?
Sure.
All right, it's a good thing this audience is all wearing space helmets today. Please welcome Beth McQuiston.
Hi, Beth. How are you feeling today?
Hi, Natalie. Great. And it's been an honor to get to know you.
Yeah, you too. So, what exactly is neuroscience?
Well, neuroscience is the study of the brain or the nervous system.
Did you always see yourself becoming a neuroscientist?
Natalie, that is a great question. So I see all of these adorable young faces in the crowd here today, and I can absolutely tell you, when I was your age or their age, I had no idea I would be a brain doctor. So, I was focused more on writing, and I liked reading. I had not been exposed to any brain doctors. So you guys sitting there today, you might think you're going to go into one thing, but a very important point is keep your options open and try so many new things. You never know what you're going to be good at until you try it.
It's good to know that I can keep my options open. So I understand that you study concussions, and when I think of concussions, I think of football players. Are concussions something people like me should worry about?
Unfortunately, Natalie, yes. So anyone can get a concussion. I know everyone tends to think about elite athletes, and that comes to mind first when people think about brain injury or concussions. But unfortunately, the most common cause of brain injury or concussion is slips and falls. So where I live right now, it's very icy. I think there's snow in Chicago. And a lot of people, unfortunately, can fall on their stairs or on an icy walkway. So it's very important to hold on to hand railings and wear the right footwear and not to run at the pool. I always have to tell my daughter that. No running. And another big cause of concussions would be car accidents. So every time you guys get in the car, it's very important that you wear your seatbelt.
So how exactly can you tell if you have a concussion?
That is really another great question, Natalie. I can see why they made you the Time Kids reporter. In terms of a concussion, it's not like an ankle. So if you guys twist your ankle, you can see that it's puffy. It might hurt a little bit to walk on it, or if you get a scrape or a cut, you can see that. A concussion, you can't see the inside of your head. You don't know sometimes that you may have an injury. And when you go to see your doctor may be a little bit unsure, which is why we're working at Abbott on an objective blood test. Just like when you go to the doctor and they check your blood for, say, iron levels or lead levels or your heart or your kidney, we're working on a blood test for the brain.
Only 30% of the world's researchers are women. So did you face any barriers when you decided to pursue a career in neuroscience?
Natalie, I think the biggest the biggest challenge was I didn't know about it. So I became a dietitian first, and in that intro video you saw one of the dietitians, a registered dietitian, and it's a wonderful line of work, and I enjoyed that a lot, but I didn't know that I would enjoy neuroscience even more because I hadn't encountered it yet. So that's why I think it's so important for all of you in this room to try so many different things. And one of the best places you can do that would be in your local library. I remember I was reading all the time, and I would go to different sections and try out things that I had no idea about. And that's what I recommend for each one of you. And then this fair, congratulations to all the parents and family members that brought your kids here. This was a fantastic idea. You guys can go try out so many different things. I saw stuff with dolphins, I saw space camp, I saw things about emulsification, which I like, but maybe that's not your thing, but go try that. And it's the only way you're going to know.
What can everyone do to help inspire women to consider careers in STEM?
I think what's really important is to give your kids the opportunity. And also for the kids, if you have an uncle that does something really neat that you don't know anything about, or an aunt that is doing something real cool, take the time to learn about them. See if you can go to their job, see if they can just talk to you for a little bit around the family table. If you guys have cell phones, put them down and talk to them and learn something. Something else that I've always done throughout my life is anytime I come across someone, I try to learn something from them. And you meet a lot of different people. I travel a lot on the plane, and I say, what do you do? They tell you what they do, and you say, well, teach me something. What's the most important thing that you would want someone to know about what you do? And you will find out so many cool things that you didn't even know existed.
You mentioned kids, and I know you have a daughter. So how do you encourage her to pursue her interest in STEM?
Yes, so my daughter's right there, the love of my life. She's right there, Allie, little Alley Cat. Or sometimes I call her beautiful or wonderful or munchkin, pumpkin. So one of the things you can do is come to a conference like this. This is a fantastic opportunity to meet people you would have never met before, try things you would have never thought of before. We also do a lot of science at home. Science is everywhere, and science is the coolest thing ever. So for example, when we're cooking, there's food science. If you want to do, why do onions caramelize? There's a reaction behind that. Or how, when I was in food science, how can you extend the shelf life of something? Or for example, natural peanut butter, why is the oil on top? And how do you get the oil to mix in? Same thing when you bake a pizza and the cheese, there's that oil on top. Why is that? There's so many things you can do, and each one is more interesting than the next.
So we know there's a ton of girls in the audience. So what advice do you have to these girls who want to pursue a career in science?
I think number one is just be curious and go for it if opportunities arise. Corliss and I were reading an article the other day, and this is so true. I see this in my daughter's school all the time when I volunteer. Girls, for some reason, even if they know everything about a topic, may be hesitant to do it or try it because they think, well, maybe I'm not good enough. Versus boys tend to just raise their hand and go for it, and maybe they know absolutely nothing about it, but it doesn't get in their way. So what I would say for girls is, when you hear that little voice saying, I don't know if I can do this, tell that voice to be quiet, and then you raise your hand or you volunteer for that project, and you do it. You make sure that you go for it. That's the only way you're going to get new experiences, and it's so important. You know, there's a phrase that some of us have heard a lot. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. You have to try the shots. My daughter tries out for things all the time, and the thing that I'm most proud of is not whether she gets it or she doesn't get it, but that she tried. If you try, you are ahead of 99% of everybody else that didn't.
Thank you for the great advice, and thank you for answering my questions. Mindy?
Wow, so I didn't realize that being a scientist requires so many questions. You have to ask questions to figure out what kind of science you want to follow. When you become a scientist, it's all questions. Mm-hmm. And Natalie, I'm realizing you are kind of a scientist yourself. Being a scientist doesn't always mean doing the science. You're curious about it, and you're helping to bring scientific answers to the masses. So technically, I think you're a woman of science too, Natalie. All right, are you guys ready to play another game? Did I mention that we were going to have some prizes at the end of this show? I don't think I did. We've got some prizes. Beth, we're going to have you go ahead and see how well people were listening to you just now, but go ahead and ask the first question.
Okay, guys, you have your phones up? Everybody, show me your phone. You got your phones? Everybody? This is great. Looks like we're at a concert. This is good. All right, now that you have your phones, the question is, we haven't asked the question.
Where's the question?
You guys are that good. All right, neuroscience is the study of the intestines, the ears, nose, and throat, nervous system, and brain, or the bones. So you guys are so good, you're paying attention. It must mean I'm a really good speaker.
100% of the audience got the correct answer? Woo! Wow, look at you guys. I feel like everybody should get a prize at the end of this show. All right, do we have another question? Do we have another one? Nope, I don't think we do. Time to put your phones away. Screen.
We do.
Oh, wait, we do have another question.
Yeah, and before we go to the question, I do want to ask you guys out there, how many of you guys ride a bike? How many guys ride a bike? How many? Raise your hand, wave it. I loved riding my bike. Okay, keep waving them if you always wear your helmet. All right, what about parents? Come on now. All right, so I see not all the parents do. So kids, I want you to make sure you turn to your parents and you say, Mom and Dad, you always got to wear that bike helmet, because we were talking about preventing concussion. And you guys are the future. You kids are the future of the world. You are the future of science. You are our future. Make sure you protect those brilliant brains. Yeah. So back to the question, is it a good idea to sleep if you have a concussion? And it looks like 32, polls are coming in. It's changing as we go. Is it a good idea to sleep if you have a concussion? Do we want to call it?
Yeah, we're watching this in real time. I don't know, it keeps
exciting.
getting higher and higher. I
Okay,
think I'm going to have to call it.
Suspense breaker. So it's a common myth. If you guys watch a TV show, apparently one of the most dangerous things you can do in the world is go to sleep if you hit your head. But that's not true at all. Once you've seen your physician and they've cleared you, there's no bleeding in your brain, you have to rest your brain. You have to get a lot of sleep, and it's extremely important in terms of brain recovery. So most of you guys got that right, and if you didn't, that's okay. That's part of the science process.
All right. Well, are you guys ready for another guest? We are going to bring up Sarah Von Kampen. Sarah Von Kampen participated in Abbott's high school and college internship programs, and now she works full-time at the company as an engineer. Please welcome Sarah Von Kampen. Woo! Hi, Sarah. How's it going? So Sarah, before we start, I know Natalie has some more questions for you, but can you tell some of the girls in the audience what an intern is, what an internship is?
Yeah, really what it is getting exposure to the field ahead of the real game. So yeah.
And why do you feel like an internship is such a good idea for girls in STEM fields?
It's a great idea because you get to see women engineers in real time. You'll get to shadow them and see what they do on a daily basis, and it's the best experience ever, being able to see it in real time.
Okay, so if you have any I know we probably have some high school and college girls, I know we do in this audience, so we'll give you a chance to talk some more with Sarah in just a few minutes. In the meantime, I've got to ask all three of you, all four of you, what would you say is one of the biggest challenge that you have had to overcome as a woman in your field? And Natalie, we'll start with you.
The biggest challenge has probably been the intimidation, because when I first saw the contest, I thought, wow, it would be so cool to do something for like such a big company like Time. But then I thought, I can't do this, it's too much. But then I just realized that I wasn't going to ever do it if I didn't try. So I just decided to try.
We're so glad you did, Natalie. We're so happy to have you here today. Beth, what about you?
I would say for me it would be exposure. I just didn't know that the field really existed or that I would love it. So that's why I encourage all of you to go to all of these booths, read every book you can get your hand on. If you see a magazine that you don't know anything about, read it and try tons of different things.
Can we give it up for all of the parents and grandparents who brought their kids here today to make sure that they did have this exposure? You guys are awesome. They braved the crowds and everything. What about you, Corliss?
Yeah, I say for me, probably the biggest challenge to overcome was demonstrating my technical ability. Even early in my career, there was this notion that, especially I'm a mechanical engineer by education and training, and it was pretty much thought or assumed that the guys were the ones that understood the electromechanical operations and not the girls necessarily. But, I'm just too stubborn to give up or to allow anyone to doubt my ability. And so therefore, I stuck with it, and I was able to stick with the best of them all.
Do we have any stubborn girls in the audience? I don't
There you
know.
go.
Oh, wait. Their parents are all pointing and raising their hands. Yeah, I think we do. So stubbornness comes in handy.
Stubborn is good. Stubborn comes in handy.
All right. And Sarah, you're pretty new into your career. What's been your challenge?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Natalie. It's feeling intimidated is something that often is present, and just pushing through it, especially when you're feeling outside of your comfort zone. Don't give up and keep pushing and trying to get where you want to get to. So.
All right.
Definitely.
Well, Natalie, I know that you have a few more questions to round up our little show here today, so go ahead and take it away.
So I want to know what the most rewarding part about your job is. Sarah?
Yeah, so the most rewarding part of my job, I would have to say right now, is seeing the impact of my work. So I'm able to see the differences that my projects make and the changes that they promote, and it's pretty awesome, and it's great to see the impact that they have.
Yeah, okay, so Natalie, what I would say is I spent a lot of time helping to develop our future scientists and engineers, and that's something that's a true passion, for me. So being able to see people like Sarah, I've known Sarah since she was 16 years old, And so to be able to see her now working as a professional engineer is extremely rewarding for me. And I want to continue to be able to help make an impact on young lives.
Natalie, I would say there are a few things. The first would be the people I get to work with are absolutely brilliant and wonderful, all the scientists around me. And then the most important would be that we come up with these discoveries that no one has ever known before, and we're able to provide life-changing technology.
So what is the best thing about working in STEM? Beth, why don't you start?
The best thing about
working in STEM.
Oh gosh, there's so many great things about science, technology, engineering, and medicine. I would say every day you come up with something new. You're finding out things that no one's ever discovered before, and it's extremely exciting. And then going back to how rewarding it is to make something that can change someone's life.
Corliss?
Yeah, I'm going to ask, if I could ask the audience a quick question, and then I'll make my point. How many people in the audience, either you are diabetic or you know someone in your family or friends that are diabetics? If you could raise your hand. That's a huge number of people. So I love being a part of a corporation that helps to create products to make a difference for the lives of people like you, all of us. It's absolutely rewarding.
Sarah, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, so for me, I would have to say it's doing what I love. They say that if you find a job that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, and that rings so true. I mean, what's better than turning ideas into inventions for a living?
So how do you guys think students like me and the students in the audience today could shape the future of science and engineering? Beth?
Well, number one, again, wear your helmets on your bikes, guys, so you keep those precious brains intact. And then number two, we need women, we need girls to go into the science so much, because there are studies that are designed to look at how things can change the world and make it better, and you want to make sure that women are represented in those studies. Women aren't just female men. We are different. We have different pathophysiology. Our bodies are different. Our perspectives may be different. So we need to make sure that that voice and perspective is captured. And the best way to do that is for all of you to participate in science and go on to great things so that you can make sure that the world is really, truly a better place.
Yeah, I would say don't be dissuaded by anyone. You know, Beth mentioned the article that we read recently where it talks about girls just simply hesitate more to speak up. You have a voice. We want to encourage you to use your voice. For the parents, only about 10% of girls say that their parents actually encourage them to go into STEM fields. We need every parent that's here today. You brought your children here for a reason. So we want to make sure that when you leave, you continue that process. Encourage your girls. Let them know how passionate you are for their success, and help them to achieve the aspirations that they have in these fields that desperately need them, because they have a lot to offer.
Yeah, that's great. For me, I'd have to say there's so many different areas that you guys can excel in for the future. Nanotechnology, does anybody know? Interested in nanotechnology? Oh, sweet, I see a couple hands. Nanotechnology, genetics, IoT, the Internet of Things, which is essentially like the connectivity of all devices to each other. They're always speaking. Machine learning. There's so many different things, but I think that you guys are going to take it off and just run with it, and it's just going to be awesome. I can't wait to see the future.
What advice would you guys give to students, especially girls, who want to have a career in STEM? We can start with you, Sarah.
Yeah, don't give up. And we'll say it again and again and again. Don't give up. If you're interested in pursuing STEM, keep going for it. When you feel uncomfortable, when you feel like you're being pushed beyond your limits, that's only opportunity for growth. That's only an open door to success. If you're feeling comfortable, then you're not growing. So make sure you're pushing yourself. And when you feel that you're being pushed beyond your limits, that's great. And just keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah, when you hold the mirror up and you look in the mirror, you tell that person you see in the mirror that I've got this. I can do this. I will do this. I am going to do this. And then you go make it happen.
I would say even more important than intelligence and raw ability, the top things would be perseverance determination, and grit. You keep going when other people stop. That would be the most important thing that you can do.
Thank you guys so much. Those are all the questions I have.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thanks, Natalie.
Perseverance, perseverance, determination, and grit. You guys got that? 3 words to walk away with today. All right, so remember how I told you guys that we were going to have some prizes for some of you who played with us today? Well, now is that time. So what I want you to do is look under your chairs. Some of you might find a white envelope. And if you find it, wave it up in the air. We got one! We got one! We got one! We got one! Yay! All right, so after the show, we're going to have you come to the side of the stage to get your prize. But first, we are going to tell you what those prizes are. Both Beth and Corliss have chosen 2 books that they hope will inspire you as much as they have inspired them. So Beth, do you want to tell them about your book?
Yes. So obviously, being a physician is fantastic. I'm trying to convince Natalie here to be a neuroscientist and a neurologist, but all of you can be whatever you want to be, and please consider being a physician. This book that I picked says, Who Says That Girls Can't Be Physicians? And it's about Elizabeth Blackwell, who was the first woman doctor in the United States, and she was a real pioneer. So each one of you, I'd like you to stop and take a few minutes to think about if you would like to be a physician.
All right, and Corliss, let's hear about your book.
So the book that I selected for you is STEM Gems. It was written by an African-American female engineer who's an MIT grad who worked in the field for a number of years, and then she went back she stopped working to get her PhD, and she's basically now on a mission to help educate girls, schools, and parents about STEM. It's important for you to review this book because the book is filled with women that currently, it's their stories. They work in different fields of science and engineering, so it gives you an opportunity to explore all the different things that you can do. So review it with your parents because it also will help the parents understand the vast areas of science and all the fields of STEM.
All right, so fantastic. So if you had an envelope, we'll head to the side of the stage after the show to get your prize. But I've got some more exciting news because we have prizes for everyone in the audience. On your way out, be sure to get where are they? Be sure to grab an Abbott backpack or a little pack. We've got one for everyone, a little gift bags, little goodie bags for everybody after the show. Also, if you want to know more about Abbott or Abbott's internship programs, you can visit abbott.com/internships, or you can talk to Sarah right when we're finished here. She'll be at the side of the stage. Let's see a quick video on Abbott Internships.
Abbott employees are very driven, and I think the thing that sets them apart from other companies is really knowing why their work matters.
I come into work every day and I see everyone is very excited to be there.
Being able to see that the work I do is directly impacting and seeing how that impacts a customer and helps save someone's life is one of the best feelings in the world.
The biggest career reward that Abbott provides is the ability to move around in the company. You can switch roles, you can switch environments, you can get a wide variety of experience, all with staying in the same company.
I've grown both professionally and personally. I've been able to experience things just because I've had this internship on my resume.
Being able just to receive great advice from a lot of senior leaders I've met, hearing their words of wisdom have just been priceless.
There's a lot of opportunities to work with senior leaders, to meet senior leaders, and they really work to mentor you and try to hone your skills early on so that way you can be valuable.
They genuinely care about you, and I definitely think that's something that is not common in such a big company.
There are so many great, very intelligent people who work for this company. They are always able to somehow make time in their very busy schedules to talk to me and help me out.
My mentor really helped me grow outside of my job description. She really tries to identify opportunities and create opportunities for me to fulfill my goals for the summer.
Just to have someone so devoted and seeing me excel in my life and my career and future endeavors, it's awesome. You can't really get that anywhere else.
Come prepared to make hard decisions, solve business problems, but also be prepared to have a great journey, knowing that whatever project you're doing is going to help people. So it's easy to take pride in your work, and that's not something that you can easily get at other places.
You do real work, and it's work that matters.
All right, I just want to thank you guys for being such a fantastic audience today, and I want to thank Abbott for having me and Beth and Natalie and Corlis and Sarah for joining us here today and inspiring us, showing us that we gals with a little grit, determination, and perseverance can do anything we want. And you are the future of STEM. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Mindy.